buy a bad house? That's a bad house. You're going to learn how to identify a potential problem in a property that you want to buy.
What she said.
And this works for sellers too. So listen up so you can avoid these problems.
So we take somebody out to see a property. We're not going just to look at the property. We're actually looking at the entire area around it, at the rest of the community. Do the neighbor's house look any good? Is the community amenities, which would be the playground, the pool, is the pool clean? Is it crystal clean? Is the HOA doing their job? Is the community maintaining an elevated status, or is it actually potentially in decline? And you don't know that unless we drive around. Remember last time we were out and you noticed one, you're like, it seems to me like they're not really paying attention to where cars are parking.
Right.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal because you don't want to be the nicest house in the neighborhood because as he mentioned, if fewer and fewer buyers want to purchase in your subdivision, then your equity will ultimately go down.
Right.
The next thing you want to do is read that marketing description well. You need to know that house in and out before you step through that front door.
Well, at a minimum, your real estate agent should know that inside and out. That's something we go through before we show every property.
Yeah, chances are, what if you say to your realtor, what's the age of the roof? I don't know, let me check. No, they should know. They should have checked before they showed you that house. For example, if the home has been marketed as an updated kitchen, look at the cabinets. Were the cabinets replaced or just painted over? Is the stove brand new as the seller alleges, or was it one purchased from a scratch and dent sale? It may look new, but it's really not.
So have the windows just been replaced? Is there a new air conditioning? Is there a new roof on the home?
Yeah, a lot of times sellers will say, I did this and I did that, but really, who did the this and that? Is it their brother's, sister's, cousin's, uncle who did the work, or did they hire...
Crazy Bobby.
Crazy Bobby did it, or did they hire a qualified professional, someone who pulled those permits? You need to know, is this lipstick on a pig that we're looking at? If you don't know what that means, just Google it. What is going on with that house? If you don't know what's going on with that house, it could cost you thousands of dollars later to remedy.
So we get asked a lot about foundational issues. Are there cracks in the stucco? Is there foundational cracks? Anything like that. These are all important. When we're in a property, one of the things we're looking at is, does it pass the marble test? That's where you take a marble and it literally rolls to the other side. That's not good.
No, and sometimes you can actually feel that floor slanting as you're walking through the property, so you're like, there's an issue.
That's it. Imagine stepping into your house and all of a sudden feeling you're on a boat and you just start tipping and falling off. That's not good. What happened? What's the cause of that? A leaning chimney or vent, if they have one, is something that you need to look out for as well. And also, something as simple as, does it smell? Musty odors, mold, something like that. Keep your nose open as well as your eyes, because everything matters right now. Now, a lot of times homes are sold where they passed on to inheritances, and the true seller, the owner of the property at this point,
they don't know.
They've never lived there.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on.
So inspections matter. Visually, with your nose, and also hiring a professional or perhaps a team of professionals to do the work for you.
Now, mind you, when we come into the property, we're like Snoop Doggy Dogg detectives, but we're not hired, we're not licensed professionals. Yeah, we do as much as we possibly can, having sold as many homes as we've sold, to kind of point out those flaws for you so you know what you're getting into. But we will always recommend that you hire qualified, trained experts.
And don't forget to take a look around the garage doors, either the perimeter doors, which allow you in and out of the garage, or the big pull-up, the bay doors as well.
Any of the doors, really.
Really, true. But sometimes, most of the time, around garage doors, you're going to find wood rot in there. If you're buying veterans, a VA home, it's not going to pass without that being repaired. We look for it all the time, but if you're looking and we're not representing you, we're not there to help, take a look at the doors. You'll see a lot of wood rot. Look for it everywhere, because that does matter.
Now, here's something most people don't even look into. Water pressure. There's really not a lot that you can do about it, because we're talking about the water pressure that goes from the street into your house, and that's why we carry this. This is a water pressure gauge test. It's very simple to use. George is the expert at using that. You hook it up to the hose and you can measure the PSI. In our area, it's typically about 40 to 80 PSI, and you want that optimal, because if not, you do not want to take a shower with that water just drizzling, especially if you have a large family. Well, it's going to drive you nuts.
Let's show them. What we'll do is we're going to hook it up right now, and you'll be able to see what the water pressure is in our house. We'd like to check because we haven't checked our own house, so we'll do that now.
Our water pressure is great, and that right there verified it. So if you're a seller or a homeowner, invest in one of those gadgets. They're not that expensive, about $13 on Amazon, or go to your Ace Hardware, Home Depot, whatever, and just pick one up. And you can adjust your water pressure to make sure it's not too low or too high. You definitely don't want it above 80. So just take care of that little thing beforehand so it won't be a problem for you later.
So the next topic is air conditioning, which is very important to me. As you
Very important in Florida, period.
For sure, but especially me. She's small, I'm big, I need more air conditioning. Now, whenever we go into a house, we always carry one of these. This is how you tell one of the major functions of a healthy air conditioning system. You take this, you point it at your vent, mine's currently blowing 60, and then you point it at the intake, which is down there, 81 degrees. There's a difference of at least 20 degrees, which means the AC is working well. Now, a good inspector is going to take the cover off. They're going to look for bacteria. They're going to look for mold. We can't really say mold, but it is mold. They're going to take a look at everything. You can look at the vents. We'll look at those as well. Is it draining properly outside? Healthy air conditioning is a must. And knowing that this is something you check is important.
Absolutely, because a buyer needs to know that the house is being very well maintained. And if you can see the air filter and it's full of dust, they're just thinking, what else isn't being taken care of? So it really doesn't take a lot, to keep your AC running effectively, but just do it.
Now, we covered this with the AC where you want to check and make sure the drainage works. Well, Florida has an issue, particularly in the newer build homes. They have what's called 5-foot setbacks. So what you're looking at is a picture of two homes, and the distance between the property line and the home is 10 feet, 5 feet on each side. Some of the older homes have a lot more distance, which is terrific, but think about that. All of the roof area, and we get rain all the time, rains down and falls in this little tiny sliver. Those 5-foot setbacks we just showed you turn into a swamp. Drainage is really, really important. And if you're looking between October and May, it doesn't rain a lot here, you need to have somebody and you need to look yourself. Are the setbacks close, and is there a French drain in place? Is there something that's going to help you?
Are there rain gutters in place?
Rain gutters make a big difference as well.
It diverts the water.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that for sure. This is something that's really critical. You're going to find everything goes wrong if you don't do that. You're going to put in a French drain, or you're going to have some foundation issues that may come up too.
Another big ticket item that you want to look out for are the windows. Oftentimes, if the agent is there with me while I'm showing the property, I say, is it all right? Can I open up the windows? Because I don't open all the windows, just a few, because you want to make sure that they stay up. That Florida heat that just comes in there and it breaks those little, what's it called? The little ballast.
Yeah.
It breaks that and makes them all crunchy. So I just want to make sure that the windows are operational. If not, I know it's a big ask, but we can ask the sellers to fix it, especially for an older home. To match those windows is hard. So you need to know what you're getting yourself into if all those windows need to be replaced. Two other problems that we look at next: pets and smoking. Now, don't get us wrong, we love pets, we love our golden doodle scotch, but sometimes those pets can really mess up your property. So what we want to take a look at is, if they have some dogs, we look at the sliding glass doors. Is the glass scratched? That's a costly fix. The curtains convey with the sale here in Florida. So if the homeowner has a cat and they scratched it up, sharpening their nails, you're gonna have to replace the curtains. A lot of times people have carpeting in the bedroom. I carry around a little black light. You don't wanna know what this little thing shows, but basically if there's urine there,
it shows urine.
Yeah, it's gonna pick that up right away. Smells as well. Smokers, I'm sorry, no matter how many candles you light, no matter how many cookies you bake before people walk through the front door, you can smell it. So you have to take into consideration that as well. You're likely going to have to paint your entire house, and you're going to have to get rid of wallpaper, because that smell, that smoke, sticks to that wallpaper smell as well.
So anybody here who watches 2.5 Men and saw the CSI edition of 2.5 Men, where they had the black light in Charlie's room?
My God.
It's like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Put a comment down below so that I know we watched the same kind of stupid humor. That part was funny, talking about what that'll pick up. And also, if you like the content, if you like what we're doing, do us a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe. That way you get notified when we put out something new, but more importantly, it tells us that we're doing something that brings some value to you. So next thing we want to talk about is electrical. And it's important there's a couple of years we have to remember. From 1965 to 1973, they were using aluminum wire in some of the homes because it was cheaper than copper. That's not good. So we definitely take a look at that. We go around and you always want to check and make sure all the GFI inspection, the GFI triggers are working. You can literally click it on, click it off. And
And if those items aren't working, and if you notice there's not a GFCI outlet near the water source, that's where you mainly have to have it. It's very simple to just add that into the contract and say, you know what, seller, I want you to install these per the contract prior to closing.
right on, the proper GFIs will make a difference. And your inspector will tell you if it's close enough or where it needs to be.
When I meet with sellers, I always tell them when I'm working with the buyer, I look up. We always look at the ceiling. Why? Because we're looking for evidence of a previous leak that has been prepared. In Florida, our textured walls and our textured ceilings are a dead giveaway to if something was broken and then fixed. So we always look up, and also for the air conditioning vents to see if they've been cleaned, and we talked about that a few minutes ago.
Definitely look up in the garage because a lot of times they won't put the effort into fixing it,
Yep.
trying to camouflage that. It's a great indication there may be a roofing issue. And when we're walking the property, you and I are walking it through with our clients, we take a look and take a note of that. And if it's something we're going to make an offer on, we make sure the inspector gets up there and really tears apart the attic. We're not going up there.
No way.
She could fit, I can't, and neither of us like it because it's too damn hot.
Here's something else a lot of people don't do. They don't look under rugs. A lot of the homes in Florida I like to just pick it up and just kind of look. And I also ask the agent to ask the seller, is there anything under that rug? Is there anything under that hutch? Is the flooring damaged? Because we need to know ahead of time. We don't want to figure that out during the final walkthrough.
It's actually kind of funny watching her do so because she's out there with her black light going, okay, now I can pick it up.
No, if it's the rug, yeah, that's true. I look at the corner. But yeah, it's a simple thing to do, but it'll save you a huge headache.
Everybody knows a good plumber. Nobody knows a good plumber, but you want to take a look. Look under the sinks. Is there leaks underneath there? Look around the toilets. These are just things that commonly I would suggest everybody does. Do this if you're selling your home too. Do I have some challenges or issues? Do I have polybutylene piping? Or if we're representing our buyer partners looking for properties, we want to know, is there polybutylene in the house? And you can't always follow the 1978, 1995 rule. You need to check and have your inspector check and certify that it doesn't.
And a big thing too, the washer and dryer. For whatever reason, sellers love to take that washer and dryer with them. Well, guess what? Sometimes when you remove it the day prior to the final walkthrough and you see that there was water damage behind there, that's very hard to fix in an instant. So I always suggest with the sellers, leave that washer and dryer. If I'm working with the buyer, I'm on the other side now, I say, make sure that inspector looks behind the washer and dryer to make sure that that drywall is dry.
Here's a little tip as well to go along with the washer and dryer. Please check if you're buying a home. Make sure that you have stainless steel cables coming from the
Yes.
water, because if one of those cables break, they can literally flood a 2,500 square foot home in under 2 hours. That means baseboards, drywall, everything's coming up. Real important. It's a good closing gift we like to give some of our clients sometimes too. It's Florida.
Nasty little critters.
You're going to get them, or you had them, or you will have them. We're talking about termites. Yes, that's a real thing. It does happen. Now, when you're looking around the house, what we're looking for is something called mud tubes. If you're dealing with a house, it's a block house. And what those tubes are, it's how the termites, the subterranean termites, get up into the backings and then go all the way up into the roof. Here's the thing. We always recommend you have a termite bond. We have one on our house. We encourage you to have one as well. If you don't have termites, you will. They won't eat your whole house. When you realize you have them, they've done very little damage and you can get that taken care of and replaced. But we want to look for them ahead of time. We want to know if the seller has a termite bond, and if so, is it transferable?
Yeah, that's
And
important.
Absolutely. That's a question we ask before we make an offer, because we're going to write it in that the termite bond, if transferable, is transferred to us. That's part of the contract, so it has to happen.
And another thing too, we also ask for those transferable warranties and bonds on any new appliances like the roof or the HVAC system, anything that's been replaced. I say, is there a transferable warranty for the new buyer? Really important question to ask. And if you're looking to purchase a house, watch this next video. We're going to show you how you can improve your credit score so you can get the best darn interest rate.
It's playing right now.